Hi friends, welcome back to my channel Total QA. In this video today we're going to discuss about how do we use XPath access locators. Before we go further and understand how to use XPath access locators, we just focus on how do we handle the dynamic content. In mainly some of the web applications, the data in the HTML table is dynamic always. If you look into the Rediff.com website, look at this one Reddit.com website here, the real-time code you can find here, and also there are top losers here. See the top losers table, this data will be dynamic based upon the rate, the percentage change. Today you can see this data, tomorrow you can see some other row in the first place based upon the percentage change. So in this table, this is the HTML table. If you look at, there are how many columns? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There are totally 5 columns. In these 5 columns, if you look at the data will be displayed in rows. In a row, you have multiple columns. Suppose when for example, if I take the first row has first TD, second TD, third TD, fourth TD, fifth TD. So how the data is getting displayed? If you look at here, let me scroll down and try to write it down. The HTML structure here. The HTML structure here is, say here you have a table. You have a table body. Before that you have a table head, and under table head you have a table row, and you have a multiple table data. Totally how many are there? Total is 5. Column 1. Similarly, column 2, table data. Here, table data. Similarly, we can do the same thing. Table row here. You have a first table row in the table body. You have a table data, column 1. Similarly, you have another one for column 2. Like that, you have values till column 5. Column 5. Table row, then table body, then you have a table here. So this is the HTML structure of the dynamic table that is getting displayed in Rediff.com, especially in the stock market, live stock market data. If you see, it will be updated on daily basis. So now we are interested to fetch the data available in these columns. Right, because the row might change. If you look at the row index today, if you look at the row index for Ashoka Buildcon Limited, the row index is 1, but tomorrow the row index might change to 3rd or 4th. So when I start writing my XPath, I should not depend on the table row index. So when you look at here, the table row index for Ashoka Buildcon Limited is 1, Buildcon Limited is 1. Future Consumer is 2, Jindal State and Power is 3. Tomorrow if I look at the row index for Ashoka Buildcon might be in the 10th or 15th or 28th, or it will not be available also, depends upon the data, right? So while writing the XPath, what we have to focus is how do we avoid using table row index. Table row index, we just depend upon the text that is getting displayed here. Okay, that's first point. And also, suppose if I don't depend upon the table row index, then how do I fetch the data available here for this company? This is the current price. This is the previous close. How do you fetch this data? So you have to depend upon the text function. We already discussed how do we use text function in part 2 tutorial for XPath functions. I will provide the link in the description. For the part 2 tutorial, you can go through the functions. We are going to use text function here to identify this row of data. Then after identifying the row where the company name is located without depending on index, then we will focus on identifying these values. So what are we going to do now? We're going to do that saying that we do not depend on the table row index. First point. We depend on the text getting displayed and identify the row. And using this information, we fetch other values. So this process we have to follow. In the case of XPath access locators, these 3 points we have to focus. We do not depend on the table row index. We depend on the text getting displayed and identify the row. Using this information, we have to fetch other column values, mainly other column values like current price, previous close, percentage change. You can fetch any value. So the same principle I'll follow right now. But if you want to fetch other values, we have to depend on access locators, because we are fixing the text and identifying the row. Based upon that condition, we are going to add extra information to fetch other column values. Okay, there are totally how many access locators? 1, ancestor, following sibling, preceding sibling, descendant, parent, child, following, preceding. We'll see all these examples right now. Okay, ancestor, it will select the parent or grandparent. Following sibling, which follows. Preceding sibling, which precedes. Descendant, child or subchild. Parent selects immediate parent. Child selects immediate child. Following, select all the matching nodes which are following. Select all the matching nodes which are preceding. There is a difference between following and following sibling. There is a difference between preceding and preceding sibling. I'll show in examples. All these access locators I'll show you in example. Okay, so and also I had given this information clearly documented as well. Here in the website, you can look out to our website. I can show you that information. This is available on our website. You can even refer to this totalcreate.com, XPath access locator, Selenium WebDriver, dynamic HTML table, or you can even search here. Just open the website, search for this information as any information which you want, like XPath access locators. You can find this link and open this document and understand all this information available in this website. Okay, so let's take the first example. Identify the parent of the web element. Suppose this is the first example we are going to focus now. Identify the parent of the web element we are going to focus. How do we use parent access locator? Let's go back to the website. So right click, select this text, right click, say inspect. Okay, then open ChroPath. Okay, as I said, we have to select the selector sub, which is latest. It will give a lot of information. Now, let's try to understand the table. Suppose I see here, there is a table here, right? Table is getting highlighted, table here. Table has 2 sections, table head, table body. Again, I repeat, table has 2 sections, table head, table body. Now we are interested in the table body only. Expand table body. Table body has so many rows, row 1, row 2, row 3, row 4, row 5. It is highlighting in the web page, you can see here. Now we got some idea. We have a table, we have a table body, we have a table row, but as I said, we don't depend upon the index, but we will try to select the text that is available in the table row. Let's, for example, try to understand to fetch the value future retail L. Copy this information, go here. I think it will be available in the first row, second row, third row, fourth row, fifth row. Let me expand this fourth row. Okay. If you look at, you have a table row. In the table row of table data of 1, this is available. And if you look at how many table data are there in the table row, if you look at in the table row, 1 table data, second table data, third table data, fourth table data, fifth table data. Totally 5 columns available in a row. 5 columns available in a row. So let's try to identify the future retail L row which is available in the table. Right? What is our objective? To identify the row where the future retail L is available. Let me write down the XPath. / table has a attribute @class is equal to data table. I'm able to identify the table now. The table is highlighted. We got the table. You can check. Table head, table body. Then we go to table body. I select table body. In the table body, I'm interested in the row which contains future retail L. Table row, table data. So here table data A contains /A contains is a function which takes 2 parameters, text, comma, the text that is getting displayed. Remove the spaces, just give text here. Yes, now we are able to identify future retail. So if you look at the XPath, first I'm identifying the table, then table body, then table row. Table row contains table data. 5 table data are there. In all the table data, there is one table data which is having A, that is anchor tag. Then anchor tag contains text, comma, future retail L. If I copy this and put it in the notepad, it will be easy for you to understand as well. This XPath doesn't have any access locators, right? Can I still make it? Can I make it even simpler, this XPath? Right now this looks like a bigger XPath, and we can make it relative XPath, more relative XPath, which is easy to identify. I can say that I can try to give as table data. So I can start from table data as well to make it a simpler relative XPath. Yes, this is also I can do. Or else you can even do this as well. /A contains text is equal text, comma, future retail L. But this is not good because it might be possible this anchor tag text might be available not in the table. It might be available anywhere in the page. So that might be a problem. That's the reason go take table, say table data, and table data contains A contains future tag. This is useful for you to identify the particular row. Now, suppose for example, using this information, what is the parent of A? The parent of A is TD. Is it possible to select the parent of A? Yes, using a access locator parent : TD. See, we are at a child. We are going back to the parent using the parent tag. So this might be possible. Suppose you start your XPath at a child level. See here, I'm starting this XPath at the child level. I can even do that as well. See, and I can select the parent. So if you want to select the parent, you are at the child level and you want to select the parent, you have to give you the access locator as parent. So let me copy this and keep it here. This is an example for parent. Okay, and there is one more example also I have given in the website. You can even refer to this. Same thing I have provided. Example 1 completed. Then let's get into the example 2. Identify the ancestor of the web element. Now we completed parent. Now we are getting into next example. Identify the ancestor of the web element. There is a difference between a parent and ancestor. Okay, let's see what's the difference. If you look at here, the parent of A is TD. The parent of TD is TR. The parent of TR is T-body. The parent of T-body is table. So, these are all not parent, grandparent. These are all grandparents actually. Means parent to parent. So, if you want to select anything apart from TD, like TR, like T-body, like table, we call them as ancestors. If you want to select the ancestor, say TR, T-body, table, you have to use a access locator ancestor. So what I do now, I will remove the parent here. I'll just give here ancestor, give TR. I will select TR. You can see here every time whenever we write the XPath, it shows one element matching. Then, if you want to select the T-body, you can even give T-body here. If you want to give given table, you can even give table here. So, what is the point here is there is a difference between a parent and ancestor. Ancestor can select anything in the hierarchy till the HTML using this ancestor as an access locator. This is easy to understand now, the difference between parent and ancestor. Just give an example for that. And it is not only the grandparent, you can even select the parent also. Suppose in our case here, let me show the example. Suppose in our case, we wanted to select TD. TD is the parent, but we can even use ancestor and select TD here. See, for this element, the parent is TD. Okay, you can even use this as well. So two examples are completed. First example is for parent, second example for ancestor. Let's look into the next example. Identify the following elements of the web element. Okay, following elements of the web element. This is very important as well. Following. Let's see. Again, let's go back to the website. Let me copy this XPath and keep it for you. Okay, anyway, I'll try to write it down. So let me go back. Following. Suppose if you look at the ancestor is TD. For this ancestor, either TD, TR, T-body, table, anything is applicable. Let's give table row, TR. The ancestor is table row. So if you look at the table row as ancestor, for a table row, if you look at the table row is which one? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. For this table row, all these TRs we call as following. We call them as following. Okay, we call them as following. Let me try to give slash following. So how many matching nodes? Totally 176 matching elements, and the following table row starts with index 1. Do you see here? Index 1. Following table row 1. Following table row 2. Following table row 3. And if you scroll down here, till 174, if you look at here, they are having index 174. And one more thing I will tell you, important thing. In this table, there are only 174 rows are there, but we are getting 176 matching elements. The reason being, any table row in this web page will be also selected using following. Means if you scroll down somewhere outside the table, there are few more table rows which are getting highlighted. See here, this table row, this table row, means which is in the bottom of the web page. So our objective is to select the table rows, but when we give following table row, it will select all the table rows available in the page, not only in the table. This is a very important point. But if you look at in the table, there are only 174 are there. If you see Amber Enterprises is getting highlighted here. You see here in red color. But if you look at this one, this is outside the table. This is outside the table in the bottom of the page. So it will be very important when you are using following. It can select anything outside the table also if you are giving following. Okay, so let me copy this. Now, can we try to write an XPath to select only within the table? Why it is going outside the table, selecting something which is not in the table also? Yes, we can do that. We can do using, we can do instead of following sibling, okay, we have to select 174 only, right? Following sibling, following only, we have to provide following sibling, then we get totally 174 matching elements. So what is the difference? When you give following, any row which is after this row will be selected when you use following. When you give following sibling, any row which is after this row, but it should be in the same level. You see here, what do you mean by level? See, observe carefully, I'll show you. This is the table row we selected, future retail, right? And these are all the same level, right? See, the same level to the table. In the table body, these are all the same level. So it will select any row at the same level, means it will consider the table contents only. It will not go beyond the table. So this is a very good example, the difference between following and following sibling. Okay, so we completed parent, ancestor, following sibling. Let's move on. Other examples. Third example is completed. Let's move on. Even fourth example also completed. I have told you that there's a difference between the search results. You see the nodes, the elements which are matching, there's a difference. XPath example fourth also completed. Okay, so then we look into some of the other locators which are not available here. We'll try to discuss on other locators, which are other access locators like, child, descendant, preceding sibling. Let's see them as well. Let's start with child concept. Okay, child. If you look at, let's move this XPath now, let's clear this. If you look at a table row, suppose for example this is a table row, right? Or suppose for example for this table row or for this table data, the child is A. See here, / td child A. And A contains text, comma, you can copy this. For a child, for a parent, if you look at table data is a parent, for a parent, the child is A anchor tag. So if you want to denote the direct child within the parent, you can use child access locator. Okay. And suppose, for example, if you look at a table row, for the table row, the child is table data. For a table data, the child is A. For a table row, the child, you have to select using child. You have to select using descendant. Direct child means one level. Descendant means multiple levels. Table row, child, table data, child A. So, I can copy this XPath. Let me write it down as an example for child here. Selects immediate child. Similarly, I'm going to select using descendant. Now, child subchild concept also it will be applicable here in the case of descendant. So what I do, I just give here table row, table data, but here I'll just give here descendant DSC. So when do we use descendant? A child, if you want to select, it's called a subchild. We have to use descendant. Okay, this is an example, good example for subchild. Next, preceding we'll select. Preceding. We'll use preceding as an example. Okay, let's start. Suppose we are identifying a table row. Suppose we are identifying a table row, table data, descendant A. Okay. I want to select all the table rows which are before this row. I want to select all the table rows which are before this row. So I will just give here slash precedes preceding table row. How many are coming? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right? Agree? See here. But tell me one thing, is this table row is within the table? This table row is within the table, but it is available in the head section. It is not within the body. You are selecting even the table row which is available in the head section. But we are not interested in the head section. We are interested only in the table body data, like Ashoka build icon. If you see here, it is selecting this as a first table row, second table row. You can see here, TRX part 2, 3, 4, 5. But we are interested only in the table body, but it is even selecting the table head data also. Why? Because when you give preceding, it is not only checking within the same level, it is going within the table. Is there any table row which is available? So it doesn't look into the table body, it will go till beyond table body and check in the table head, table, anywhere in the web page, beyond the table, it will identify. So you are getting 5 matching nodes. Usually, if you look at generally what is the answer for us? We are here. We are expecting the matching nodes as 1, 2, 3, 4. But preceding is giving 5 matching elements. Why? Because it is selecting table head content also. Let me write down this as an example. Now, what should we give to select the rows only in the table? We can just simply select here as preceding sibling. Preceding sibling. One second. One second, preceding sibling descendant A and preceding sibling double. 1 second, let's try to do one thing. Let's try to change the small XPath here to select preceding sibling. We select the, see, we're just changing it to select the ancestors here, and yes, this is what we are giving. See, this also we can get even preceding also. Suppose for example, this export, if we just give preceding, how many matching nodes are coming? Just for understanding. Totally 5 are coming. So I can even change this to preceding sibling to select the table rows only available within the table. So I will just give you one export only. You can just change for preceding and preceding sibling. It will work for you to avoid the confusion. Okay, you take this export. First I am identifying the anchor tag, which contains text. Then I am identifying the ancestor, which is table row. For the table row, which are preceding, which are coming before that, all the things will be into consideration. Means for this table row, 1, 2, 3, 4 are preceding sibling. But if you give preceding, this table row, which is available in the table head, also will be selected. Okay, let me copy this and put it here as an example for preceding sibling. So for preceding, what you should do? So here we are getting 5 matching elements. Okay, here we are getting 4 matching elements. And if we copy this and give here, it is selecting all. So here we are getting 5 matching nodes, but here what we have to do, we give here remove the sibling concept. We are just selecting all the table rows which are coming before that. So if you look at all the examples we covered, ancestor, following sibling, preceding sibling, descendant, parent, child, following and preceding also. So all these examples clearly explained here in this table. You can even try this on this website with all these examples. Only thing you have to modify is the share name, and always whenever you practice this example, always take the 4th row or 5th row data. Why? Because for preceding sibling, you get some table rows. For following sibling, you get following sibling is easy because you are selecting one row. Following, you will find multiple rows. But for preceding sibling, if you want to get some elements which are matching, definitely take the, instead of feature retail, you can take any row of data. Just change the stock name. Automatically, all these examples you can practice easily. Okay, the same information is available here in the blog as well. You can check, and there is also an example I have written. You can copy this program and check whether it is working as expected and let me know. So thanks for watching my video. If you like my video, please subscribe and share to your friends.